Hey y'all, I'm so glad you came to join me on this beautiful crafternoon. See what I did there? I'm Lulu, and this is Learn It with Lulu, where we believe you don't have to be great at something to start, but you definitely have to start to get great at it. Today, we are going to paint a jar of glowing fireflies, and we're going to do it with gouache paint. If you don't know what gouache paint is, hang around and let me show you. And since I have you here, if you like to try new hobbies and learn new skills, subscribe because that's all we do here, and I think we should be friends.
So, of course, you need something to paint on. Get you a canvas or maybe some paper, it doesn't matter. These are my gouache paints. They're Arteza brand from Michaels. You don't have to have gouache, you can do it with acrylic. You need a jar of water and some brushes. Just don't forget, if you do use acrylic paint, it's not going to act exactly like gouache paint on your paper. If you use paper and I use a canvas, they're not going to act the same. But that's okay, because you're going to learn your materials and I'm going to learn mine. So we're painting fireflies today, friends. Do you call them fireflies or do you call them lightning bugs? I don't know what I call them. I guess I call them fireflies. That's what I said. But we let's learn a fun fact about a firefly. Fireflies are not actually flies at all. They are beetles. And their glow comes from a chemical reaction called bioluminescence, where a bunch of stuff works together in their bodies and it makes light. But what's weird is they make light without heat. Scientists call it cold light, and it's one of nature's most efficient lighting systems. They don't waste any energy at all. There are more than 2,000 species of fireflies, but only some of them glow as adults. Some light up to attract mates, and others to warn predators that they don't taste very good. In the U.S., they're most prominent in the Midwest, in the South, and along the East Coast, especially in humid areas that are near water, which explains why they like hanging out around my house. For centuries, people have seen fireflies as symbols of hope, guidance, and wonder. In Japan, they are said to carry the souls of soldiers who've passed on. And in some Native American stories, fireflies were believed to hold bits of fallen stars, their light guiding travelers through the night. And in parts of Europe, catching a firefly in your home was thought to bring good luck, so long as you set it free again. And nobody can forget my favorite firefly. I forgot his name, but he's an adorable character, the firefly that's in Princess and the Frog. Whenever I see fireflies glowing in the dark, I can't help but think about how the Bible tells us to be lights in this world. In Matthew 5:14-16, Jesus says, "You are a light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Let your light shine before others so that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven." And just like these little insects shine brightly against the night, we are called to bring light, kindness, joy, hope into the dark places around us. And the best part, even a small little light can break through a lot of darkness. So as we paint today, think about how you can let your light shine through creativity, encouragement, or even a simple smile. These fireflies might be tiny, but they make summer nights magical. And maybe that's the lesson. We don't have to be big or perfect to make a difference. We just have to glow where we are. Well, this is the point in my painting right here where I got real frustrated. They say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Albert Einstein said that. And honestly, it hits home for me, especially when I'm painting. I cannot tell you how many times I've started a piece only to think halfway through, this ain't working. But the truth is, sometimes the only difference between a failed painting and a finished one is that you keep going. Over the years, I've learned that art is a lot like life. Rarely does anything turn out to be perfect. Especially right away. There are awkward stages, messy layers, and moments when you wonder why you even started. But I've also learned that if you just keep going, you just keep picking up the brush and adding a little more light and a little more depth, you eventually get somewhere beautiful, somewhere that you're proud of. And sometimes that means covering up a whole section and starting new. And sometimes it's just adding one more layer of color until it finally feels right. And sometimes it's learning to love the imperfections, the little surprises that happen along the way. Right here is where I decided to take a page out of my favorite artist's book. Van Gogh once said, "Great things are done by a series of small things brought together." And I love that, because in this Firefly painting, I kind of borrowed a little inspiration from his Starry Night. Swirling lights and tiny strokes that seem to dance across the sky. It reminded me that every little dot and every little swirl and every brushstroke, it all adds up to something that feels alive, something that glows. Painting these fireflies also made me think about how small acts of persistence, just like those little dots of paint, create something bigger than we realize. Fireflies are not much on their own. They're little, they're fragile, but when it shines, and when others around it shine too, the entire night lights up. And it's a good reminder for our lives and for faith. Even the small things done with care can bring light to dark places. So, if you're feeling stuck, whether you're stuck in your art or you're stuck in your life, remember this: it is not about perfection, and it's not about getting it right the first time. It's about showing up, making little changes, and trusting that they'll lead somewhere. And eventually, just like these fireflies, you'll end up glowing with something you can be proud of. So I decided to give the grass some depth there at the bottom. And I also made it a lot lighter in the middle because I felt like the jar would be glowing on that grass. And this right here is where I saved my painting. I decided it was not going to be realistic. It was going to be very illustrative. So I grabbed a pen. And this is a real thick, kind of like a marker. And I outlined my jar and my fireflies because they needed a little bit of help. Then the magic. I grabbed a white jelly roll pen and I went to town on those glowing stars. And boy, am I glad I did. That was the whimsy that was missing with the fireflies. And it just made magic on that canvas. And I figured that out because I just would not quit until I was happy with it. And here is our magical little jar of fireflies. Remember, creativity is just like these lights. Don't hide it, share it. And like I always say, go on, I give you permission. Make a mess, make a memory, and make a little magic while you're at it. Bye, y'all.
We are going to paint a glowing firefly. A glowing firefly painting. Firefly. Today we are going to,